Austin, Texas, down 23% from their median price at the peak in 2022. Florida, look at Punta Gorda. I used to go to Punta Gorda every year for Christmas. We would see my grandmother, down 17% from the 2022 peak. And now we're starting to see Phoenix just unravel.
We are hitting a new low in Phoenix, a low we have not seen since 2009.
Phoenix is unraveling. It's pretty wild. Is Nashville next? Because when I look at, this is a Lance Lambert tweet right here. Here's the top 50 that have declined. I'm looking, I just don't see Tennessee on there at all. I don't see Tennessee on there at all. No Tennessee. Everybody's like, oh, Tennessee's so bad. Oh, Tennessee, inventory's up from pre-pandemic. And I'm like, well, I don't see Tennessee. Now, the question is, though, and legitimately so, are we next? That is the question. That's the question I have. That's the question I'm trying to answer. That's the question I want to answer for you. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to present you with data that I'm looking at, and then you can decide if Tennessee's next, if Nashville's next, if maybe you ought to consider looking at local, hyper-local, neighborhood area housing markets. Some of these median sales prices don't really mean anything to anybody on the local level. So Caitlin McKeag actually does a great job. I hope I said her name right. She does a great job covering the Phoenix market.
If you watched my video last week, we were also talking about how prices have come down, and bad news for sellers is I don't have any different news for you on that front.
Now, some of the key metrics she uses are very interesting. And the one that I'm particularly interested in is what is the price of what's going on under contract. Now, before I get to a clip of her explaining that, look at Redfin. Phoenix is unraveling right now. I'm going to show you the metrics that I look at. One is pending sales. Okay, pending sales are actually running below where they were last year. That's bad. By the way, Nashville pending sales are running much lower than even Phoenix, by the way. Pending sales in Nashville down 10% year over year. Right now, Nashville's pending sales are much lower than Phoenix pending sales. To me, that's a big warning sign. I think demand peaked in April for Nashville. Y'all don't even realize, but May is supposed to be the peak every year. Look, you see this. April to May, peak, peak, peak. Okay, so we always see the peak later, but I'm telling you, we're down 10% right now. It's just sellers are completely aloof to in Nashville. If you talk to sellers right now, they're almost, at least the ones I talk to, they seem uninterested in selling their property. They're not really interested in dropping their price if you make an aggressive offer. But look at Phoenix. Okay, so pending sales, Phoenix is actually not as bad as Nashville is right now. Let's look at active listings. Active listings skyrocketing up 35%. It's just so unbelievable to see that much listing growth. It's rapidly increasing. When we look at Phoenix and we go to active listings, what we see here is they're up 30%. Now, Redfin did show some different data on this. They're only showing Nashville active listings up 18%, and they're also saying it's 11,780. So they're clearly measuring something different. Both are showing rapid active listing growth, both Phoenix and Nashville. And I would say that Nashville, while comparable to Phoenix in the active listing growth, depending on what metric you use, the pending sales are worse. So far, Nashville looks worse. Let's keep going, though, because what I think is most important, what is happening with price? And this, to me, is the biggest disconnect. When we look at under contract, she looks at average price per square foot for pending listings. And listen to what she has to say about this. Now, we're going to compare this to median contract price in Nashville. So it's not apples to apples per se, but listen to what she says.
Average price per square foot for pending listings stands at $323 at the start of May, which is the lowest figure for the start of any month since October of 2023.
Median sales price tanking. Look at this. Just completely fell off a cliff and has dropped precipitously. Nashville prices aren't dropping right now. If you look at median contract price, it's a little bit below where it was last year, finally, But it almost feels like Nashville prices are about to seasonally drop just a little bit earlier, like maybe a month earlier than they normally do. Which, by the way, look at this right here. This is kind of comical, but everybody's like, oh, Nashville prices are down. This is when everybody started saying Nashville prices were down. Okay. Right here. I mean, it's like the headlines say, oh, Tennessee prices are dropping, Nashville prices are dropping. That is what they captured. And there's like headlines everywhere.
Well, Becky, it's prices. They are still gaining slightly, but they are slowing down quickly. And in several major markets, they are now lower compared with a year ago. Take a look at these numbers from Parcel Labs, which runs real-time price data. Miami, Atlanta, Tampa, San Francisco, Nashville, and Minneapolis are now negative year over year in prices. And Austin, a major pandemic migration market, is tanking.
And it's like, okay, well, but now home prices are up. Okay. And this is exactly what I see. I mean, actually Redfin's data is pretty consistent with mine. We had this like big jump up in prices. We had a strong spring followed by like a pretty weak late summer. And I think what we're going to see is a pretty weak midsummer. So what we'll see is prices are up for May, very likely, may not be for sure. But come late summer, we're going to start seeing more negative year-over-year headlines. The question I have in all of this, and you can pick any chart you want from any resource you want, it really comes down to where does the price land in late fall? Because every single year we have this drop, but it always ends up around the same place. Here on Redfin, it shows a bottom of about 440 in 2023. And about 446 in 2024. And then in 2022, it was 440. So the question is, are we going to hit a new low here? Because if we do, then I can say with confidence, prices are dropping in Nashville. I mean, the point is like, it's almost insulting that people are saying prices are dropping in Nashville. We'll probably have a positive headline in May. We'll probably have a negative headline in June. Neither one really matter. When you look at this chart, all I see is nothing's really changing. You talk to buyers, they feel like it's more expensive than it was the year before. You talk to sellers, they feel like it's flat. I mean, the fact is it's just not really doing anything. It's just been churning since June of 2022 or May with the peak of 2022. Prices have just been churning. Are we comparable to Phoenix? Is Phoenix ahead of us? I'm going to say Phoenix is actually worse than Nashville. It almost makes me think that prices, regardless of where they've been, I kind of wonder if prices are converging in all these cities to a new normal. And so the ones that had this blow off top are coming back down, Nashville now. And then could they go lower? I think they could. And I would love to see it. I would welcome it. You know, when I look at my neighborhood tracker, how does it really show up there? Well, anytime you see an across the board price drop, let me show you what the neighborhoods look like when you see that. Let's get a higher volume neighborhood. Let's go to Green Hills. Lots of data here. Here we go. So you can see like prices peaked. This is the upper quartile, 533. And then even in June 22, 383, but you can see it still kind of made a new high the next year. But it's just kind of been bouncing around that area. Lad Park is actually a good one. Let's pull Lad Park. Okay, because Lad Park absolutely tanked. Yeah, Lad Park's much more distinct. You can see that blow off top, June of 22. People are overpaying for a house, almost $400 a foot. Then it tanked, and then it's been recovering, by the way. It's been recovering. So, and we're seeing this in a lot of neighborhoods. Prices, I mean, if you look at this neighborhood, it looks like prices are going up. Right? Everything that's closing is higher lows. And the highs don't really look like they're dropping. So, and then we look at under contract, we can pull off, we look at our contract. It's clear to me that prices are going up in Lad Park. And there's probably going to be larger concessions on these. So they'll probably move down a little bit more than what they've been. But still, is Nashville the next Phoenix? I'll let you guys decide. I have a great video on what to do if you're nervous about home prices dropping, but you want to buy. Feel free to check that video out. I'll put it in the description here and you guys can watch it. With that, hope you all have a great rest of the day. Be careful out there, enjoy the weather, and we'll talk to you next Saturday. Thanks a lot.